by fire.
We just took what we could from our home.
And by flood. People are losing their homes. More on the extreme weather in different parts of the country.
On the first day of school, the bus driver dropped me off somewhere else at the wrong stop.
A little boy left wandering the streets by himself leaves a mother shaken and demanding answers.
It breaks my heart to think of my child walking all by himself that far away from home.
Pants on the ground, pants on the ground.
And one lawmaker is getting to the bottom of a huge problem in his state, saggy pants. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. It was just a matter of time. After more than a month of 100-degree weather, a massive wildfire is burning out of control in North Texas. It's ripping through the area around Possum Kingdom Lake. At least 25 homes and a church have burned to the ground. 2 others are at risk tonight. People had very little time to escape from the fast-moving flames.
You just don't have time, and you think you do, and you don't.
Texas is in the middle of its worst fire season ever. The region hopes for relief from Tropical Depression Lee this weekend. Well, Hurricane Irene could be one of the top 10 most expensive disasters in U.S. history. That's according to government officials who are surveying the damage. This is video out of Paterson, New Jersey. The river there has crested, but it's still a huge mess. Flood evacuees have no idea when they will be able to return home. Irene is responsible for at least 43 deaths in 9 states. More than 2 million people are still without power. We won't know the full extent of damage from Hurricane Irene for some time, but experts think it could be around $10 billion. In North Carolina, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says many crops are devastated.
I've seen a lot of damage as a small town mayor, as a state senator, and as a governor of an agricultural state. I've not seen the kind of flooding and damage to crops that I saw.
Listen to this. The federal government estimates the cost from wind damage alone will exceed $1 billion. Irene left hospitals in New York in need of blood. Mayor Michael Bloomberg answered the call to donate yesterday during an emergency blood drive. The city's blood supply has dropped to a very low level. Officials say with Labor Day weekend coming up, the need for donations is high. August has been the deadliest month for U.S. forces in Afghanistan since the conflict began nearly a decade ago. 66 troops were killed this month. That tops the recorded 65 troop deaths last July. Nearly half this month's American deaths came from an insurgent attack on a helicopter which left 30 dead. 10,000 U.S. troops are scheduled to leave Afghanistan by the end of the year. General David Petraeus officially retired from the Army today. The former top U.S. commander in Iraq and most recently Afghanistan is headed for a new civilian post, director of the CIA. He starts that job next Tuesday. Time for Global News Now. Waves nearly 60 feet high are drawing spectators to China. The massive waves are part of a phenomenon known as astronomical tide time. The waves are only this big for 10 days in the lunar calendar. The tide mixed with winds from a typhoon are boosting the height of the waves. The biggest holiday in the Muslim calendar is being celebrated in Libya and other countries. Eid el-Fitr includes 3 days of feasting and festivities. The holiday marks the end of a month of dawn to dusk abstinence from food and drinks. In Tripoli, crowds gathered in Martyr Square to celebrate their liberty. A few members of Libya's National Transitional Council spoke. The annual Singapore Lantern Festival is underway and goes on until September 12th. The festival this year was much larger in scale than those of any previous years. Many large-sized lantern groups with delicate designs and unique shapes were displayed to tourists. The festival is also known as the Mid-Autumn Festival, celebrating the harvest. And that's your Global News Now. An Ohio boy is dead after a terrible accident in his own driveway. It happened in Springboro yesterday. Police say the driver of the van, the boy's mother, stopped and got out to speak to someone on the street. A 2-year-old stayed inside the van, but the 5-year-old boy hopped out and walked behind the vehicle. That's when a witness says the van rolled backward, hitting that 5-year-old. Well, imagine getting this call from police. Your child was found wandering the streets, lost, after getting off the school bus. It happened in Gainesville, Florida, and tonight a mother wants answers. Venice Toussaint from our affiliate GTN went searching for them.
On the first day of school, the bus driver dropped me off somewhere else at the wrong stop.
7-year-old Tyler Haugen is relieved to be back home with his family after a scary ordeal on his school bus.
Did you tell her it was the wrong stop?
Yes,
And what did she say?
I have to get off.
Tyler got off the bus lost and confused, just trying to find his way home.
It breaks my heart to think of my child walking all by himself that far away from home, not knowing what to do. It breaks my heart.
Tyler's mother says her fiance was waiting here at Tyler's normal bus stop for over half an hour.
I just suspected something weird going on because I knew my fiance was at that correct stop and nobody had stopped yet.
The young boy was let off the bus at this stop more than 2 miles away from home, where he was picked up by a police officer.
The officer said it appeared that the child was lost, and so they got out with him and able to determine that he was trying to find his way home, but he was nowhere near his home.
We checked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's website and found that there are more than a dozen registered sex offenders living within a mile of where little Tyler was dropped off.
I'd like to personally thank Captain Ed Book for finding my child, because without him, who knows what would have happened.
The Alachua County School District says the incident has been investigated and the driver has been put on administrative leave, but they're unable to comment.
What are the first aid procedures as it relates to bus drivers? Are they allowed to drop a child off?
Well, again, I don't want to get into that because that's going to be part of the investigation.
Well, just general procedures for bus drivers in general?
Well, again, that's an area that we're looking at our procedures, so I really don't want to get into that kind of detail right now.
I want somebody to be held accountable for what happened. And if that can't happen, I have no faith in the Department of Transportation for this county.
Venice Toussaint reporting for INN News.
Well, thankfully, this isn't smell-o-vision. Cleanup crews are hard at work in Henderson County, Kentucky, after a truck carrying chicken parts crashed, spilling all of its contents. Apparently, the chicken mess gave off a foul odor. Yep, I said it. Investigators say the truck driver fell asleep at the wheel. He was not hurt. Officials say that smell, though, may linger for a few days. Well, you having trouble paying into your child's college fund? Chances are you're already spending it, where that money's going. Plus, people at one grocery store are spending a lot more. What smells with this scenario? And one lawmaker making saggy pants his mission, one belt at a time. Details next when INN continues.